After spending 2 wonderful days in Sequoia National Park, it was finally time to head towards San Diego. Our original plan was to leave around 10 in the morning so we could avoid the worst of the Los Angeles traffic, but as it usually happens on family trips, we got a little delayed and started our drive later than we had planned. The drive from Three Rivers to San Diego is around 5 to 6 hours, but with our family, long road trips always take a little longer. Since our daughter has autism, sitting in the car for several hours can be difficult for her, so we always plan plenty of breaks along the way. Instead of rushing, we stop whenever she needs a break to stretch, have a snack, drink some water, or simply move around for a few minutes. We have learned that being flexible makes road trips much more enjoyable for everyone. One thing I really enjoyed during this drive was the scenery. As we left the mountains behind, the landscape kept changing, making the journey interesting the entire way. California highways are wide, smooth, and very well maintained. Coming from Fort Wayne, Indiana, it definitely felt like a different driving experience. The roads are broader, the views keep changing, and driving through California just feels like part of the vacation itself. Before reaching San Diego, we decided to make one more stop at San Clemente. We had already planned a beach day for later in our trip, so we were not there to swim or spend the whole afternoon on the sand. We simply wanted to slow down for a while, enjoy the ocean breeze, and soak in the beautiful weather. Finding parking was surprisingly easy. We parked in a public parking lot, and from there it was only about a 5 or 10 minutes walk to the beach. The boardwalk was absolutely beautiful. There were so many cafes, restaurants, and little places to grab a snack or coffee. It had such a relaxed, coastal vibe that made us want to stay longer. One thing that really caught my attention was how many people were surfing there. The waves were much stronger than what I had imagined, making it a perfect spot for surfers. It was actually fun just standing there and watching them ride the waves. Something else that fascinated me was seeing a train running right alongside the beach. I had honestly never seen anything like that before. Every few minutes, another train would pass by with the ocean on one side and the beautiful beach town on the other. It was such a unique sight. That railway is part of Southern California's coastal rail corridor, used by passenger trains like Amtrak's Pacific Surfliner and local commuter trains. It adds so much character to the coastline, and watching a train pass with the ocean in the background was definitely one of those unexpected moments I will remember. The town itself was beautiful too. The houses overlooking the ocean were so pretty and everything felt peaceful and well maintained. We spent around an hour to an hour and a half there, clicked a few family pictures, enjoyed the sunshine, and simply took in the views before continuing our drive. From San Clemente, it was about another hour to San Diego. For this part of the trip, we booked a hotel with a small kitchen, and that made a huge difference for our family. Our daughter has severe food allergies and is also lactose intolerant, so eating outside isn't really an option for her. Having a kitchen meant I could prepare simple meals that were safe for her. The next morning, we were all excited because it was finally time to visit the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. Anything related to animals is something both my son and I genuinely enjoy, so we had really been looking forward to this day. One thing we noticed is that the park's hours are shorter than many other theme parks. It usually operates from 8 am to 4 pm, so arriving earlier gives you more time to explore. We reached around 11 am, and thankfully we still had enough time to enjoy almost everything we wanted. Parking is not included with a regular admission ticket. General parking costs $20 per vehicle, and if you want to park closer to the entrance, you can choose preferred parking, which starts at $45. Whenever we visit a zoo or a national park, one thing we always do first is stop by guest services. It's a great place to ask about animal feedings, presentations, or anything special happening that day. It really helps us plan our visit a little better. Our first stop was Elephant Valley. Watching the elephants was such a calming experience. Some of them were pulling hay from large hanging feeders. Those feeders are designed that way on purpose because they encourage elephants to stretch, reach, and feed naturally, just like they would in the wild. It keeps them mentally active and provides enrichment throughout the day. We also saw some elephants throwing mud onto themselves using their trunks, and we learned there's actually a good reason for it. The mud acts like a natural sunscreen, helps protect their skin from insects, and also keeps them cool on warm days. Next, we walked over to see the lions. Like most big cats, they were relaxing in the shade during the warmer part of the day. It reminded us that lions spend much of their time resting, saving their energy for when they are more active. One thing we had planned in advance was reserving our tram time. It made our experience much smoother because just before our tram ride, our daughter started feeling a little overwhelmed and she had a big meltdown. And I was really grateful that we did not have to wait in a long line. The African tram was definitely one of the highlights of the day. It takes you through large open habitats where many animals live together in spacious environment. During the ride, we saw different kind of antelopes, wildebeests, buffaloes, giraffes, rhinos, flamingos, and several other species sharing the same landscape. The guide on the tram shared so many interesting facts throughout the ride, explaining how different species live together, their behaviors, and the conservation work being done to protect them. It made the experience much more meaningful than simply looking at the animals. After the tram ride, we grabbed some lunch. There were plenty of food options throughout the park, so finding something wasn't difficult. Then we continued exploring different habitats. We spent some time watching the gorillas, which were fascinating to observe. After that, we visited the tiger habitat and were lucky enough to see a tiger walking around quite close to where we were standing. Seeing such a powerful animal up close was definitely memorable. The safari park also offers a balloon safari where you can enjoy stunning views from about 400 feet above the park. It's a separate paid attraction and tickets can usually be purchased at the park, subject to availability. The ride lasts around 10 to 12 minutes and only operates in a good weather. The park is divided into different regions representing various parts of the world, including African, Asian, Australian, and other habitats, which makes walking through the park feel like you're exploring different ecosystems. There was also an opportunity to walk through the kangaroo area, which we decided to skip. One animal I was especially excited to see was the platypus. It's actually one of the rarest animals to see in zoos outside Australia. Platypuses are incredibly unique mammals. They spend most of their time underwater and are usually more active in low lights, which is why their habitat is kept quite dark. By the end of the day, we were definitely feeling tired. According to my watch, I had walked almost 14,000 steps just inside the park. Before heading back to the hotel, we stopped at a nearby produce market. We picked up some fresh cherries, watermelon, and fresh sugarcane juice. After walking all day, it was the perfect little refreshment. Back at the hotel, they offered complimentary evening food on certain weekdays. Since we had already been eating throughout the day, we kept dinner simple. I had a salad, everyone grabbed a little something, and later we relaxed in our room while enjoying fresh fruit we had bought. It had been a long but really memorable day, and as tired as we were already looking forward to the next adventure. The next day was all about SeaWorld, and honestly, the kids were probably even more excited for that.